Good morning, 2021. You have been an interesting year, to say the least. So I thought I would sit and reflect and spin a little bit on the year that was 2021. My gratitudes, my wins. It just kind of seems, way back when, thinking that the 2000s, now the 2020s, and life is so unpredictable, especially now during all these pandemic moments and global craze. But in the midst of all of that, there are so many reasons, and I have such great cause for gratitude and reflection over a year that provided interesting, challenging, certainly not all the moments I hoped for or anticipated, but through meticulous preparation, perhaps, and cultivation, was able to form a whole array of good experiences. And so thought I'll speak to you, 2021, the year that is ending in 14 hours. I am here in Southeast Asia, in Cambodia, praise God, and thought this would be a cool place to reflect. So 2021 was a year of commitments, first and foremost to the person I want to become, and am actively working on becoming the person whose life I am consistently and assertively mapping out for the sake of living the fullest version of my future self. It's a lot to take in, but I've learned recently that what you measure improves. And so since my brain injury, I really have coveted structure and discipline in my life, and want to smash a whole lot of great things for good causes. And to do that, there has to be some planning put into place. Things just don't happen typically for me on a whim, as much as I would have preferred that to be the case. It's just not my reality. So I want to have a life of tremendous impact around the world. And so these are some of the great moments that I had. I developed strong accountability and transparency through Benjamin Hardy's Accelerated Momentum program, AMP. Just met some otherworldly characters who really propelled me to the precipice of some great things. And so I'm still plodding through that path, but that's a huge win. Developed much better communication skills. I love Jocko Willink's, if I say that right, just his extreme ownership in life. And part of that for me is owning super assertive, healthy communication. Work in progress, but I think I've done better. I'm more mature emotionally as I finished 2021. That was a goal, something I worked hard and got good guidance and I had accountability over. I wrote healthy, heartfelt letters to a woman who made a tremendous amount of sacrifice for my life after my brain injury, much to her own expense, financially, emotionally, and otherwise. It was important that I acknowledge and recognize her sacrifices, her selflessness, had a difficult time for me and causing a difficult time for her. I've finally been able to better recognize the toll that my injury and process of dealing with my injury and the recovery through it took on her sweet life. So that was an important letter to get out. Sure, you want, or I want that letter to be received well, but that's out of my hands. I just need to own my side of the fence and recognize my role, my liability in anything. So that was cool. Learned about myself. I wrote letters to each of my family members and made commitments to each of them that I worked extremely hard to keep, even when it became difficult or had times that I didn't want to fulfill the commitments I had made. Sounds like life, right? No family is picture perfect. Certainly, I'm not that. But even though I don't want to make those commitments at times, I know better, and that continues to propel me towards the best end destination. There are reasons I made those commitments in the first place. I knew they would be the right approaches, even if not reciprocated. It's a relationship. Love can still be love, even if unreciprocated. We are almost always at different places in the love spectrum with those we choose or desire to love, it seems. So, yeah, unattached to outcomes, but still being my most true, authentic self is something I pursue, but stumble and get kicked in the shins often trying to do that. I also wrote heartfelt letters to some who gave utterly selflessly to my life, or to whom I hope deeper relationships could be had, regardless of any outcome or response from them. Again, goes in along the lines of not attaching to the outcomes, desiring certain outcomes, but not attaching them. I creatively maneuvered between lockdown areas here in Southeast Asia, the capital of Cambodia, particularly Phnom Penh, maneuver between orange zone, red zone, lockdown, can't go out, can't leave your block, etc. Grace of God, I was able every day for weeks to get through these checkpoints to help Hope for the Silent Voices feed more than 1,000 families, more than 200,000 meals in the peak of this COVID spring lockdown. All I claim to have done was just be a conduit through the generosity and grace of so many supporters, donors, just people who just showed up and did big things during what is our lifetime's seemingly greatest point of turmoil globally. So that was a gem for my 2021. I got to spend much of this calendar year here in Cambodia with my team, and more importantly, my daughters at our safe house that I would give my life for. These sons and daughters that are here are really, really special and dear to me, and they have injected more love, learning experiences, lessons on patience. I should read a lot of parenting books, but you guys who are parents undoubtedly know unconditional love comes at a price often, right? Isn't that the case? I really embraced my role as a father this year, probably more than I ever have. And I think just by having spent so much time and the intimacy of being locked together gave us opportunities to know more about each other, see how we respond to this and that, especially how me as a father, I want to emulate right response, positive response, make the right decisions in the face of adversity, because there are always people watching us. And those are the moments I think we most need to shine. People will always watch or listen to what we say, but how we live our life is really more important as an impact tool. Spent more than 5 weeks in Chicago during the fall. I saw snowfall 3 separate times, which was fantastic. I don't get to witness true fall. Not that that was a winter, but that was super special for me. Time with the family, just awesome. I signed up for a coaching program this year, which is something I think it's been bubbling inside of me, wanting to be more of a conduit to helping people roll through insecurities, hurts and hang-ups, and just crush life in spite of what those inner voices may be saying. So I'm excited about that. Took on my first couple of coaching clients, having a blast with that. Gosh, that's I feel like I'm in the hot seat when I'm doing that, and I love it. Took great ground in confronting and beating a chronic default of negative thinking. What does that mean? I think so many of us wake up and our mind just wants to go to that garbage, that just gutter pessimism. You know, I always say we've got an angel on one shoulder and a demon on the other, and for some reason we tend to listen to that demon too much, and learned how to confront those, just that automatic negative default, and banish it, address it, and just banish it as often as necessary, and look at the truth, the reality of what life is. And it's not a negative life. It's a beautiful thing, even in the midst of adversity. So that was a good deal. I battled the notion of financial scarcity more robustly and in a more authentic way. There's this notion that earning money or favor or something positive, yes, it's hard to come by, but it doesn't mean that's all there is. The tank's dry after I get a paycheck or something like that. That's just an old unnecessary relationship with blessing. Let's say it that way. I helped raise more than $100,000 these last couple of months of 2021 for Hope for the Silent Voices. I'm just constantly amazed by the people who have been supporters of Hope for the Silent Voices either for a long time or even new. This is just such a tremendous year of showing up in spite of whatever's happening in COVID turmoil in your lives around the world. It's been humbling, just utterly humbling. Just too many stories to share. I'm just so grateful. I'm so thankful to be surrounded by people much greater than I, that use their resources in such profound ways, and that they would trust us as recipients. Man, it's just super special. Got more than 12 new children sponsored into Hope for the Silent Voices program. And as a result, their lives are beginning to change. That is, you can't put a price on that. So thank you. Made contact with a couple of high profile people that I never would have had the courage to do so in my previous life of scarcity and meagerness. Life is relational after all. So why would I not be able to pursue somebody I want to learn from, or perhaps have a connection with, and offer a way to be mutually beneficial, or a mutual participant in their lives in some big way. So I think to make the most of life, we need a bunch of who's in our lives. And there's a great book actually out there called Who Not How that talks about this. I took a field trip to an island resort with all of Hope House and our kids and staff. courtesy of a remarkable new who that I encountered in 2021 here in Cambodia. Trip of a lifetime. That was a bucket list thing. Perfect storm. COVID and rainy season provided the best cover for us getting to an island. The kids thought we were going to some temples, and we totally undersold this program or this trip, even though we got on a boat and said the roads are washed out, we have to take a boat. Oh man, I love it. It was a good time. I led a more heart-centered life. I think that's self-explanatory, hopefully. I did my first 26-hour fast. I can't wait to continue those in 2022. I did my first 2.5-day silent retreat. Man, it was remarkable how loud silence is, if that makes any sense. I think to anybody who's done these silent retreats probably understand it takes a lot of time to shut the noise down in the brain when there's silence. And so I went to this Jesuit retreat center outside of Chicago, and it was fantastic. Just really impressed a lot of things onto my heart. I think I did a really, really good job upgrading the people around my life and spent less time trying to stoop lower to the level of those who don't fit the trajectory of the person I am trying to become in myself, the person that I am pursuing. Yeah, I think it's good. We want to meet people where they're at to assist and support and all of that. But I think the better solution is find ways to cause them to elevate their lives. Because if we're the product of the people we spend our most time around, do we want to come back down here and loiter at our lower self? Or do we want to encourage others to be here while still living in this space around other big doers, thinkers, whoever those people would be? So I think I did a really good job this year, and consecutive years I've done that, and we'll do it again in 2022. I wrote countless letters, cards, and postcards so people would know I see them as more than a simple text, WhatsApp message, or trite thought when it's convenient to me. To me, friendship should always be reciprocal, but often a matter of me taking the first step because I know the difference. Life is communication, again, as I mentioned earlier, and what a cool touch point to receive a card, a letter. I'm in the process of writing out Christmas cards still and sending them from here overseas because I'm utterly blessed to be surrounded by people just far greater than I could be as a person, and the impact they have on my life is immeasurable. So I spent Christmas in Cambodia with my Asian family. I said, no, I don't look Asian, but try to convince me. I finished my first ever half marathon, and in the time and plan that I had set out. I set out to run the whole thing, 13.1 miles, no stops, and do it in sub 9 minutes per mile. And I would say I did it. I smashed it, and it smashed me. My desire was to seek out some strategic pain to finish this year as an opportunity to learn about myself. And I would say that most definitely accomplished the task. I topped the year off flying back to Asia through Hong Kong on my favorite airline, Cathay Pacific. Always great combination. More importantly, I did what I said I was going to do in 2021. I kept my commitments to myself and to others. I lived up to the Eric 3.0 document I scripted at the beginning of this year. Yes, it continued to evolve and get modified as I did over the course of the year, but it became the transparent, authentic document it needed to be, thanks in large part to my buddies Matt and Upen and Tom. Lastly, I made tremendous growth towards the unique personality I feel I need to be in this world: unapologetic, unabashed, yet often feeling unworthy of God's graceful hand upon my life. So 2021, he kicked me in the junk enough, but you know what? Regardless of the challenges and the turmoil and the panic all around, I thank you for a great year. I smashed you, and I'm looking forward to 2022. Thank you, guys. Love you all. Have a great New Year's Eve. Bye-bye.